information. Next up, we have Rashid. Rashid Minott is a Tableau lead solution engineer. He's a former Tableau user group ambassador and the 2020 Tableau Battle of the Banks Viz Games champion. He's very passionate about visual design, has nearly 10 years of experience in business intelligence, and has developed over 100 data visualizations for various banks and financial institutions. And he's going to be talking to us today about the top places to stop on the Charlotte light rail.
All right, thanks, there. Give me a second. I'm going to try to share screens. Hopefully you guys will be able to see my screen. So there, I can see you. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Or William, I can see you guys. Okay, all right, so we look good. Hi, everyone. I'm Rashid Minott. Thanks, Dara, for the introduction. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a little bit of stuff that I've done with mapping in Tableau. Kind of like William, I mean, when we talked about this session, we kind of all going to, take a slice of the Carolinas from this mapping perspective. I'm a little bit different. I kind of, I'm going to show you what I mean in a second. I'm a huge fan of Tableau Public, number one, and I'm actually a fan of doing image mapping in Tableau. Something I kind of just enjoy doing because it's kind of from a creative perspective, kind of makes you kind of test your limits. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not original. People think I'm creative. I'm not creative. I just learned how to take things other people have done and try to put my own spin on it. So this is something I did a while ago. I think sometime last year. I'm showing you a website. This is Charlotte's Got a Lot. It's kind of like, kind of like a Charlotte, a creative type website, things of that nature. And a lady named Kristen Moore wrote this article, The Top Places to Stop on the Charlotte Light Rail. Kind of goes through all of the stops on the Charlotte Light Rail and kind of what's, to do around those stops, where to eat, where to shop, so on and so forth. I'm like, that could be an interesting dashboard. So I took that concept and I kind of ran with it and just decided to build a dashboard on Tableau Public that just takes exactly what she's done and applies the Tableau lens to it. So what I have here is the dashboard, again, inspired literally from that article I just showed you, where I've taken the actual light rail map and kind of made it interactive. So this is a real light mail wrap. This is a background image that's actually being mapped, in Tableau, where now someone can choose something on the map. And what you're going to see below, we've got two other types of maps. We've got on the right side, this is a custom Mapbox map, and I'm going to kind of describe that in a second, like what you can do with Mapbox and Tableau. And on the left is just Google Street View. So the idea here was, could I build something that combined all three? Where if we click on, let's say, Bland Street, what you're going to see is not only does, the overhead shot and the street view shot update, but also the places to go, the things that she calls out in the article. This was just an example of me just testing out a theory of, could I combine all three? I wanted to build one dashboard that integrated a background image map, a custom Mapbox map, and the Google Street View, and the actual original point of the article all in one dashboard. And this was something that wasn't actually all that difficult to do. So I'm going to kind of give you the 5-minute version of how I did this, because it's actually a little bit easier than you would think. So really, at the end of the day, we're not going to go into great detail, but I will say this. This is kind of one of these things that there are certain nuances to Tableau that you should be aware of. And if you ever want to do Google, and mind you, this dashboard, it is on my Tableau Public. I'm going to put the link literally in the chat right now, just so you can take a look at it. You can download this. You can reverse engineer it, have at it. But like I said, there are some subtle things. I'm really just going to focus on the three types of mapping: the image map, the Mapbox map, and the Google Street View. As you can see, Google Street View does not work in Tableau Desktop. That right there is fine. If I publish this right now, it will work on Tableau Public or Tableau Server, but it won't work in Tableau Desktop. The actual Google Map Embed API is something that's only going to register when you actually publish a dashboard. So that's just something to be mindful. If you ever want to do a Google Street View in your Tableau, just make sure you're mindful of that. It's okay that it's broken in desktop. If you publish it to the web, it should work. And obviously you want to test that theory out. But the way I did this, and I'll kind of focus on each of these three steps. The Google Street View, I'm kind of starting out of order. This is actually quite simple. It literally is just, at the end of the day, a URL action that's driving that. At the end of the day, it is something as simple as you just got to get the URL for your Google Street View, and then you're just going to swap out, the latitude and longitude with something from your own dashboard. I think this open. Oh, there it is. Okay. So at the end of the day, this is the actual URL here. You're going to see it's a really, really long Google Maps URL, but you can see where I have my latitude and longitude. I think you got to put it in there twice. It's there once, and then later in the URL, you're going to see it's there again. That's all. You can theoretically take this URL and swap out your own latitude and longitude, and that should work for Google Street View, or at least it should work for now. I'm not sure how the API, at some point in the future, this could theoretically not work if Google decides that, you know, they want to stop restricting people from using Google Street View like this. But for the background image map, this was something that I do want to kind of hone in on, because a lot of people ask me all the time about this kind of stuff, and it's not that difficult. There are a million different ways to map an image in Tableau. As you can see here, I've got the light rail image, and if you hover over the stations, they're clickable. So this is how I'm making it so when someone clicks on this map, it'll actually update the Google Street View map or the custom Mapbox map. But how do you even just do this part here? Like I said, there's a million different ways to do this. I'm going to show you the easiest way, because again, I'm a big fan of, if there's an easy way to do something, let's just do it the easiest way. Side note, I'm going to put this link in here as well. Everyone that's built anything on Tableau knows there are a million different links to do a million different things. I'm no different. I have a bookmark. I have all sorts of, you know, pages and favorites and things of that nature. I had a whole collection of links of just stuff that comes in handy. At some point, I said, you know what, I'm just going to turn that into a dashboard itself. So every link that I've ever kept, that I ever found valuable, I literally keep in this Tableau public dashboard. And I keep this thing up to date, you know, as best as I can. So it covers a wide variety of topics, as you can see. And one of them actually is the topic around mapping. So if you want to know more about mapping, here are some links about mapping. You want to know how to do custom Mapbox integration, here's some links about that. You want to know how to do the other type of integration, the web, what is it? Yes, web map services, or WMS maps. You know, here's some links that describe that. I'm showing you this dashboard for now because I want to show you that when it comes to image mapping, again, there's a million different ways you can do it. They probably all work, but at some point in the past, InterWorks developed this tool literally for image mapping in Tableau, and I've never looked back. I'm like, this thing is a lifesaver. And why do I say that? I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. Here is the image. This is the actual map itself. I just downloaded it as an image. That's all it is. There's nothing special. I want to show you what I can do with that image in this tool right now. So I'm going to take that image file I just showed you, just going to drag it over here, drop it over here. And now what this will allow me to do is actually plot points on this image so I can map. You can do a variety of things. I'm going to plot points. So right now it's got points selected. I'm just going to select things on the map. I'm going to put something right there. I'm going to put something right there. I'm going to put something right there. And what you're going to see is on the right, every time I click on something, it's literally plotting the X and Y coordinates. This is exactly what I used in my real dashboard, because this is what you need. This is what Tableau can read. Tableau can take this, and you can download this as an Excel, CSV, or crosstab, and just bring it in as a data source. I'm going to show you my dashboard. That's exactly what I did. And this saves so much time. Again, I'm plotting points. You could do more than points. You could do paths. You can do polygons. You want to do a polygon, you could do something like this, where I'm going to create an entire shape. And now that entire box could be mapped in Tableau, where someone could click on this blue box and kind of, you know, get an instant result. But when I say this is what I did literally, I want you to keep your eye here on the right, because I'm going to go back to Tableau and show you the actual data source. I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on edit data source, and I'm going to show you, we've got our, you know, kind of data source here. This is the physical layer. You know, if you know relationships, we're at the top layer. I'm going to double click on this and show you that now we're at the lower layer, which is basically, I've got this thing called shapes, and it's basically an inner join to my blue line stations file. I'm going to show you what those both are. Because at the end of the day, the links blue line station is my underlying data. It's what basically has all of what I'd say is the pertinent information about kind of those light rails. Kind of here are the, you know, the actual notes about which ones had which restaurants. Basically, is the blue line stop. Here's the station name, northbound. I've got all this information about these light rail stations, and I got to figure out a way to map it to that image. Here's the shapes file. This is literally what I just showed you on that last screen. I'm just mapping this to this. And once I do that, it makes creating the map super simple. And like I said, there are things I can literally walk you through how to actually get to this point, but that's all you need from an underlying data source perspective. And again, like I said, all the other ways to map images work. I mean, you can do this manually. Like I said, there's a million different ways, but this is just quick and easy, and it just kind of knocks it out the park, kind of get it over with. So once you get to this point, again, like I said, the Google Street View thing was very, very simple. Custom Mapbox integration, the thing I like about the custom Mapbox is that with the Mapbox integration, and probably even with the WMS integration, this lets you take maps a little bit further than the default maps in Tableau. Like if we go up here in the map, you're going to see it in background maps. I've got something called zoomed in map, because this is something that I did in Mapbox. If I go to manage maps, you're going to see that this was a custom map that I got from Mapbox. I actually created it. And what I did in Mapbox is I created a map that literally would allow me to zoom in a way that I couldn't really do on some of the default maps in Tableau. Like if you look at this particular map here, this is Uptown Charlotte. This is literally the Spectrum Center over here. You know, if I start moving this around, you're gonna see Bank of America Stadium over here. So like I said, this is a level of detail that you theoretically would not have got, you know, with some of the basic maps out of Tableau. There's so much you can do with Mapbox integration. I can't even begin to get into that. I mean, it's really, really powerful what you can do. It's just, there's a lot of there's just a lot you can do, and it's kind of like I couldn't explain that in 5 minutes even if I wanted to. But I just wanted to show you real quick the custom Mapbox, the Google Street View, and the background image map allow you to create something like, you know, what I showed you basically in my Tableau dashboard, and it is something that you could do too. So again, like I said, feel free to download this. It's on my Tableau public page. I'll actually, did I put the, I put the link to, yeah, I think I put the link to this dashboard. I'm going to put the link to the other one. The other one is just a good dashboard to have in general, because again, it's like everything that I kind of know how to do, but sometimes forget, you know, and it's kind of like, it's just, again, I can't take any credit. These are all links and articles and blogs that I found from everybody, from Zen masters to people who work at Tableau, to just, it's just a combination of everything I've ever found value in. I can't tell you enough. I still rely on this thing, bookmark this thing, you know, give credit to some of these people who have done some of these articles and some of these blog posts, because it's really, really good stuff. But with that, I think I'm close to being at time. I want to thank you again for your time. We're going to pass it off to the next person, and you guys enjoy your day. Thanks.